You don't need nothing but a good time. According to Brett Michaels.
2, 3, 4.
Wow, it sounds just like him.
Yeah.
We're rolling?
Yeah, rolling.
Ah. You guys already showered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How could you tell?
Jesus. Chad, what episode is this, Chad?
This is episode 111. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
Actually, no, we don't. Thanks a lot. Thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah.
Well, we're recapping a very big week.
Yeah. A week that spanned into other weeks. How's everybody feeling?
Groggy, but good.
About the same. Tired.
Good. Yeah, we all look like shit. That's good. Yeah, that was a monster. Paddy's week was good, and then we had Midland, Texas before that, which is a little over 7 hours away. 8 hours, something like that. 2 days, it was actually 3 days there in Midland, and then back to reload the gear, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, in and around Houston, Longview, College Station, and Galveston. Right? Did I miss anything?
Nope.
Okay, good. Slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down. Take it easy. Put your feet up. Breathe. How's that coffee, ECH?
Delicioso.
That means magnificent in Italian. Good. Yeah, coffee. Speaking of coffee coming soon. What is he talking about? Is he talking in rhymes and riddles? Yeah. Coffee coming soon. Stay right here. Stay with us on SlapperCast. Let's start in Midland. My first time in Midland. What do you think? Anybody? You like it?
No.
Chad?
I could see the potential for the festival, but they obviously were having a down year, I think, but it wasn't their fault. I
loved it. I thought that the venue was great. I thought the people were great. I think that the COVID thing has absolutely decimated crowds and whatnot. People are still nervous to come out.
Yeah.
Rightly so. But they were gracious. They were, everybody was,
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I want to go back. I was joking that we were eating dirt for the time we were there, just because they're so dusty, and so it was two storms while we were there, the 2 dust storms, and so good people. And they've got their the vendors were great. A lot of really cool stuff at the festival. How about that Italian meal we were treated to?
Oh my God!
On Saturday night, huh? St. Louis. Good God,
that was something else.
That was something, man.
Mm-hmm.
So we had
yes, thank you, Lauren.
Buckley play with us, and of course Chris always knocks it out of the park. Chris doesn't mess around, and Laurie took us all for Italian, and that was it was a magnifique. So it was very, very good. So so then we jumped in the car. We came back. We had Monday to get ready for Tuesday. Tuesday we went up to College Station, and holy God, we were pummeled by the Aggies on Tuesday. So we rang in Paddy's Day in College Station, and for those not familiar with College Station, shame on you. We were greeted, as always, with, thunderous applause. They just, every single song, every single moment was just, and I blame Chris Steele and Stephanie Steele, the owners of O'Bannon's. I blame them for that, because they have trained that crowd to be good drinkers, and a bunch of locals were out too. We had Brian and Ellen out there. We had the owners of the Shipwreck Grill. We had all kind, and then we had the students as well. Man, just could not have been more rambunctious and joyous. And anyway, and the war hymn was epic.
Yeah,
it's always been. But my God,
yeah,
that whole crowd. Anyway,
the crowd took over the war hymn.
Yeah,
and it just went off on their own.
Which they should. We're just the guide rails. It's up to you to get there, and they got there in massive style. So that was incredible, and we didn't have a fiddle player that night. So I want to put a couple of things to bed here. One, me right after SlapperCast 111. 2, we're not going to turn down gigs if we don't have a fiddle player. We will go out as a three-piece, which, and anytime we get to play with Jeff Duncan or Chris Buckley or, other fiddle players, we definitely will do that. But as it sits right now, we're writing songs and we're going out and we're going to perform when we get a chance to perform. We have missed it. We have missed the road. We've missed all of you. We've missed, riding in the van. We've missed the gear. It's just been great. Mm-hmm. There are surprises coming down the pike. I will tell you that we've got some stuff coming that I think is really, really exciting. And I just could not be more proud of playing in this band right now, because we seem to uncover a whole new thing now. Just the playability, if that's even a word. I mean, just of the three of us, we just had just so much fun, and there's so much room, and there's so
Yeah. I think the thing you're saying about this new freedom, we've allowed ourselves to play 3-piece shows just whenever, not worry about it. That was one of the things that contributed to this being quite appropriately like the busiest Paddy's Day week I think we've ever had. We've had some pretty busy weeks in the years past, but I don't know if we've ever done Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday all in a row, unless we're on tour.
Yeah.
Have we?
On tour. Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, locally, we usually don't do that. So, semi-locally, we went to Kemah and Longview. So, but
just wanted to say also that to kind of tag along with what Patrick and Chad just said about the band. I know a lot of folks kind of expect a certain thing from this band, maybe, and that may include a fiddle and some stuff. And it was funny because yesterday or the other day or whatever day it is now, we were at Woody's, and one of the hardcore Blaggards fans and I were in the bathroom together, which is always a great place to have a conversation, especially with that big mirror on the wall, which is very off-putting. He was like, "So you don't have a fiddle player anymore?" I said, "No, we do, but certain gigs we just do as a trio." He's like, "Oh man, that's really going to cut out some of your stuff." And I said, "Well, not really. I mean, we miss a couple instrumental songs, but for the most part, a lot of the hardcore Irish stuff that we do is basically we treat it like rock and roll stuff. So fiddle is extra when it's there and it's fun to have, and when it's not there, we just cover for it." "Okay, man. Good luck to you." So yeah, we can, after yesterday's, Chad and I were talking, and Patrick, after yesterday's show or the Woody show, this band is going to go places. This band is going to do some really great stuff as a trio. We always want to try to include a fiddle player when we can, of course, but when we don't, we just pick up and run with the baton. Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah.
I agree. And also we had Jeff Duncan's parents there at Woody's on Sunday, and Peter and Kathy were very happy with the rock. I mean, they've come to Ireland with us. They've followed us all over the place. And I always took it as a massive compliment when Peter and Kathy Duncan would show up at a show that Jeff wasn't playing, because they lived to see him play because he is so good. But they've come out to see us when he hasn't been playing, and that was just such a huge thing to see, So anyway, they were there yesterday, and they said that they thoroughly enjoyed the rock version of the harder rock version of what we did. So that was to me that's a yes, go forth and conquer. They're and I adore those two. I just cannot tell you how. Sorry, Jeff, but your parents are. I like them the most. They're so cool. They're just so cool.
Yeah.
Peter and I might be. I think Peter's written a song, and we might be. We're working on that. So I'm head over heels about Jeff's parents. So there you go.
Yeah, that's always means the world. Absolutely means the world to me when they showed up. And they've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since we first met them, they came out when there was another fiddle player. So that was that meant a lot.
Yeah.
I love the both of them. After
we rang in Paddy's Day, then we went to Pimlico. So if you've ever been to Houston and you want to go to a real Irish pub, Kevin and Tracy own Pimlico, and it's on Waugh Drive. So it's in the shadow of downtown. Very, very, you can spit to downtown from Pimlico. and they closed off the whole parking lot, and they put a tent, over where we were, and the weather was spectacular. The crowd was immense. We could not have fit any more people in there, and it was nice because the crowd gave us our space. They gave us the whole tent to, stay in. So we had a lot of room and great parking, great load in, great. Again, Lori and Chris came out and got rid of all our stuff. I mean, so I want to just tell anybody that we do have the unisex pirate shirt back online. We have a handful of t-shirts left. We're gonna be, by the time you hear this, we'll be loading up the van, getting ready for Kema. We're going to do a Celtic festival down in Kema, and it's going to be us and the Cass Barrington Irish Dancers. It's going to be a band before us who I'm not sure who it is, but our friends, the Drunken Monkey Privateers, are going to be down there with their gear. So it's going to be a Celtic festival, but we'll have a pirate flavor in there for sure. Anytime the Penlands show up, there's going to be pirates involved. So Pimlico,
cool,
loved it. Anybody else?
Yeah. It's been a long time since we've gone back to Pimlico, and I was looking forward to that show. It's there's always a great crowd there, and that pub their clientele base has just grown year by year, and they have a lot of loyal regulars there now. They always have, but I think that the amount of them just keeps growing. So it's great. All these local pubs who are, especially the ones that are run by friends of ours, it's very heartwarming to go back and to see them just killing it, because a lot of them were really getting really close to Skid Row over this past year through no fault of their own. And that's one of the things that made this week so special. It's like, here we are, not just the band, but all these places, O'Bannon's, Pimlico, Lone Star Ice House, all these places that we've known for years.
Was that your first time, Eric? Pimlico?
To play there? Yes, I've been there one time. I went there one time right after Hurricane Harvey hung out there with Alan Hill for a couple of drinks one day. But what was I going to say? Oh, who drank the green beer? Anybody? You did? Chad, son of a gun. I chose not to.
Otherwise I just would have gotten thrown out, which probably fine, but somebody went through the trouble of buying it for me. So I
dig that. No, they bought, I think that table that was right over there, the closest one that was to us, which was still far away, they were in full on mode because they were there before we got there, and they left about the same time we did, if not after. So they were gracious enough to buy us a round of drinks right at the beginning. And I told them, I said at the first break, I was like, hey, we appreciate the drinks, but we got another 3 hours to go here, so maybe
5 hours.
Oh, 5 hours. Yeah, another 4 hours to go. We already played an hour. So thanks for the drinks, but don't keep bringing them, because if not, we're going to be on the floor.
And they asked every time, hey, we're getting more drinks. Would you like more? I go, no.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, that was spectacular. I mean, just the weather. I cannot tell you how amazing the weather was. Just so nice. So we got really lucky because the weather was not saying that, the days before. And let me also say too, so Paddy's Day, Wednesday, at 11 a.m., it was 80 degrees, humid and sticky outside. Then came the rain, and the rain just bucketed down for a couple of, probably about an hour, close to an hour. And then it went away, and then came the sun, so it was a cold front that came through, and it just cleared up. So we were playing 70 degrees, sunshine, and the place, the smiles were just endless. It was just great day. So
yeah,
Pimlico. And then Thursday, who in their right mind goes after Paddy's Day? Who in their right mind? We do. So up to Longview for the hangover party. And again, we didn't have a fiddle player, so we go up as a 3-piece. So we hadn't been there in a while either. It had been a year since we'd been. Mm-hmm. Eric's first time. I'm sensing a pattern. First time there, and what a fun night! There was a hiccup in the scheduling because somebody at the Lone Star Ice House in Longview had said that we were going to be there on Paddy's Day. So we had people that were there on Paddy's Day that came back on Thursday. So that was rough. That was tough for the thing. But good room, the staff wonderful, just a good time, and we skedaddled. So just again, for our foreigner friends, Longview is about 3.5 hours northeast of where we are in Houston, and so to go up there and to drive 3.5 hours, set up, play 4 hours, tear down, drive 3.5 hours back, and then have another gig on Friday at the TVH Theater here in Houston. And I am blown away, literally shaking in my boots. I just cannot get over how well and how much fun we had after, show. And it's, we're providing sound for all of these things too. We're our friend Bill ran sound for us at TBH on Friday. And that was wonderful to have. He did a great job, and we had some dancers, we had some history lessons and whatnot. It was a celebration of the Irish, the San Patricios, and our Mexican brothers. We had such a good time with them, and everybody was so accommodating, and great theater. My first time.
Yeah, amazing. We were all commenting on it that none of us had known that place was there. It's clearly pretty old theater. I mean, God knows how long it's been there for a long time, but I think it's set up specifically for theater, like, drama theater is what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
It kind of has the laid out kind of similar to Diverse Works and other places, similar size venues I've seen, but the stage is just huge and just cavernous. And, every kind of modern, trimming that you would need to put on a show there. They had closed circuit TV for communicating with the sound booth and all kinds of sound equipment and stuff. Great lights, great lighting. And our friend Bill, as you mentioned, was running sound and did a great job. And that was the day you mentioned us, being up half the night, coming back from Longview. That was the night that it really started feeling like we were on tour for number one, driving through half the night and not getting much sleep, but then going to this venue we've never been to before, and like a theater type setting, which we've had a few experiences like that on the road, but so that was really cool. It was really cool. And for our friends at Mecca had a whole thing that I didn't even know. It was a very elaborate pre-show that they put on. It was a little historical lesson, and they did the traditional hat dance thing. Very cool.
Yeah, and then Friday turned into Saturday. Before you know it, then we were back at Moe's in Cyprus. We haven't been there for a while. They seem to have cut their budget for bands, so we expected never to be back there again. And John Bloomstrom, who owns American Bands Management, he called me, and he had worked out a deal with them to bring us back for their part due, as they called it. They wanted to do the Mardi Gras / Paddy's Day thing, and very fun, great reception. A lot of people in there. There was maybe a $20 cover charge scheduled, but they very, very wisely scrapped that because I don't know if you looked around, but the job market's not great. But really, and the staff took care of us beyond. I mean, that was just a couple of people have hung on there. Staff's changed us a lot, but it really took care of us. And just great interaction. And also, our friend Tim came out, photographer, got some great shots. This guy had contacted Chad online, Grindr.com. And he had asked it, if he could come out and Chad, yeah, Chad, he had asked if he could come out and do just shoot. He's getting back into the live photography thing. Boy, he showed me something good. That camera was probably worth the same amount as our van and PA combined. It was nice thing, and he came out great shots and was. I think it was his first time seeing us, so he'd enjoyed it, and very complimentary. And Jeff had joined us on that one, and also joined us on the Friday show. So that was really fun.
Again, about Tim, the photographer. I mean, what as you're saying, what class. You don't have to ask our permission to come take pictures of us. I mean, we're always happy for you to, but he did that. It was very smart because that meant he got to meet us, and now we know who he is. We're going to remember his name, remember his face, and he's serious. He said he's trying to build up his portfolio, so that was the whole reason for it. But that was a good move. So all you photographers out there, be like Tim. That was cool. That was very cool.
Yeah. Which brings us to Sunday.
Yes.
Hey, Sunday. Woodies. How's the weather? Tip top.
Weather was amazing. Yeah. Like it was you say that the weather was great and perfect the whole week, the perfectly timed rainstorm and all that stuff on Wednesday. Oh my God. You couldn't have ever imagined better weather for Galveston in particular. It was, 60 in the 60s the whole time, kind of breezy, but there was no wind chill or anything like that. It wasn't cold enough to be uncomfortable.
They put the plastic covers down.
That helped us for sure. Yeah, the wind can be a little bit aggravating up there sometimes, so that was nice. But even if they left it open, I think that the breeze would have been kind of pleasant, apart from blowing things over. But yeah, wow.
ECH, what do you think?
First time there, I had that place confused with somewhere else, I think, that I had been to before. And I remember seeing a band, and they were I think they were set up on the lower level. And of course, there are a bunch of, 50-year-olds, 50-year-old guys wearing shorts and flip-flops and Hawaiian shirts singing Margaritaville. The kind of shit that just drives me absolutely crazy about getting closer to the water. But yeah, even the load-in was long, but it was kind of fun with the carts because it made it a whole lot easier. So thank you, Woodies, for providing carts for the band. And stage was amazing. Stage was great. I don't normally like a drum riser, but I think it was just the right height, just the right size. Mm-hmm. And having the whole back end of that building to set up on was nice. It felt comfortable. And I thought the first two sets were just fantastic as far as what the three of us can do together. And then by the third and fourth set, the brain fatigue and the physical fatigue caught up with at least me. I think Chad mentioned it happened to him too. And Patrick, your voice was in rare form those last couple of sets. I think I kept hearing it because I had my in-ear. We're all wearing in-ears now, and we can really hear everything really well. And I was hearing your voice, and I almost started not laughing at you, but just laughing like, wow, he's fucking ragged out. We've had a long week of doing this, but again, great staff. The audience was fantastic. They were in it to win it, from the get go. A lot of Blaggards t-shirts out there, some old friends, a lot of old friends of yours, and now new friends of mine showed up. So it's funny because when Jeff's dad walked in with that mask on, I thought it was the drunken monkey pirate guy, that guy that
yes, Ted.
I thought it was Ted for a second. I was like, oh, wait, no. Oh, no, that's not Ted. That's a different guy. Because they both got the white hair with the beard and shit. So, But, just really a great way to end the week and it's just showing the potential of what this band can actually do.
Yeah. So rewind back to right before Midland. I went into BB Gun Studios to redo a vocal track that had been lost around the storm. So I went back in to do it, and I was at the microphone, and as you do for a vocal track, and I was like, what's going on? So I had right before, of course, fucking Paddy's week of all the fucking times to go. So my voice was, I guess it was a carryover symptom from being ill, 2 weeks before, but so no upper range at all, zero. So I told Paul, I said, well, I'll just come back and finish it later. Just fucking of all the times to go. So I didn't have any voice. And then so last night on Sunday at Woody's, I just threw everything at it, just every single thing I could, every piece of energy and whatnot. I had a ball, an absolute ball. But my God, Lemmy would have said, hey, you're sounding rough. People gargling broken glass would say, hey, you sound bad. So it was so much fun and so energizing to be there. And just like I say, we're merchandise wise, we're down to the dregs because Laurie and Chris came out again. And, so a bunch of new people. And the weeks have been just really good. We just met a ton of new people, and we're just itching now to get back out and do it again. It's like I say, we got Kima coming up this weekend, but stay on the website, stay with us, because we're going to be adding shows just left, right, and center right now. So mark it on your calendars. Come out and see us, and we're going to show you a good time. That's guaranteed.
Yep.
Because you know why? You don't need nothing but a good time. According to Brett Michaels.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, it sounds just like him.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do here is we're going to Chad's gonna drop in. Oh, hello Ringo. Hi Ringo. So we're gonna drop in an edited version of the Whip show that we did. We put together a radio show for Paddy's Day. And we just put some songs in here with some explanations on why we chose these songs and whatnot. So we're going to drop this in. But as far as SlapperCast goes, episode 111, we're going to have a lot of fun when we get we got some great guests coming. And, we just we're still riding the high from the Vinny Appice interview. Thanks to Eric for getting him. And if you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It is, even if you're not a fan of Black Sabbath or Dio or Last in Line or John Puggan Lennon, just go watch it. This guy's a monster, and I'm sending Vinny some Blaggards stuff, and I'm going to send him some salsa, some of my favorite salsa. So, and if you're in Houston, just go Reba. Hot sauce or some Jardine's ghost pepper salsa, or just come on the show. I might send you some.
Yeah, man. The Vinny episode is doing very well, and check it out. That was a highlight of our podcasting career, to say the least. Yeah. So the Whip show, I'm going to drop in some highlights of the stuff that Patrick and I talked about. If you want to hear the whole show. If you didn't catch it on the Whip last week, because they aired it twice, go to Patreon. I might even put the whole thing up there. Auntie Lori asked us to just talk enough to fill a 2-hour show, including the songs and commercials and stuff. So Patrick and I just kind of freeformed it. We figured they would edit it. We would trim it down to size, but she heard it and she just left the whole thing in. And so with the songs and the commercials added, it was a 3-hour long program, which was like, oh geez, sorry, we didn't mean for that to happen. But if you want to hear that whole thing, you can join us on Patreon or Reward Music, which is open for business now. You can find links for both of those services on our website, blaggards.com. And give it a listen. It's
Overachievers.
Yeah, right.
But again, we there's just too many to thank. But with all the miles and with all the hours and with all the stuff that we did, there's so many people to thank, and the club owners and all the staff and all the sound, everybody. But Laurie and Chris have absolutely knocked it out of the park. I mean, just they've just been. I think Chris Buell loaded our van on Paddy's Day on his own. I looked up and I was like, where's Chris? And there's all the stuff is gone, and Chris is by the van and goes, where's it go? So we just, with everybody helping us out like that, it was just, it seemed like a breeze. It just seemed like all those hours and all the time setting up and tearing down and everything, just, it made it so easy. And again, Chad, Eric just killed it playing. It was just an absolute pleasure to play every single moment. And just can't wait to do it again after a nap.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
As did you, my friend.
Patrick.
That was
the fearless leader.
Yeah. That some of the moments Patrick had. I mean, yes, particularly yesterday with the huge stage at Woody's, and when Patrick would go into his guitar solo, he was all over the stage like Eddie Van Halen, and it was fucking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, those were.
I love that stage. I love that stage.
Yeah, like Eric was saying, I was telling Eric before we got there, so the stage is really cool, and we've already talked about this now. But the thing that we really appreciate about that space is that when they built that back patio, it's clear that it was specifically for music. They said, we're
It's
going
a
to put a stage here.
Smart build, yeah.
Yeah. And that's we've complained about this many times that most venues, even when they're building new, let alone, if you're occupying an old building, that's one thing. But if you're building a new space, this is going to be our pub and we're going to have live music, but you don't have a stage area, you're missing out. That every pub that has an actual stage in it is going to have more long-term value, I think, especially if you want to have live music than just a pub with with a dart board or something, whatever else, So yeah, I love that.
I agree.
Yeah. Just to put a tail on this kite, about that stage, just the placement of where the outlets was just like the simplest thing, and yet the most genius thing. Just right back there, right behind you, where they're supposed to be.
It was kind of clear to me that whoever had spec'd out that stage probably was in a band, or at least knew people who were in bands, because they thought of everything, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
So number 1, this one did not surprise me, but I thought it was really great that you put it at the top of the list, Black Rose by Thin Lizzy, which is kind of a song in a way. It's kind of a song about Irish music, about the traditions that led to, or that make Irish music what it is, basically.
Yeah. So growing up in Dublin, you can't escape band. Ireland's so small anyway, but I mean, nobody escaped nor would want to escape Thin Lizzy. It's such a small kind of incestuous music scene. Rory Gallagher knew Thin Lizzy, Gary Moore, of course, in and out of Thin Lizzy and Skid Row and all these, so all these players that I idolized all kind of ran in the same, like I said, it's a tiny, tiny place and it's hard to get around. So, but Thin Lizzy are special in that they influence so many, and they are responsible for the sound of so many, and for it's endless and it's timeless, and Phil Lynott was such an amazing poet and visionary and such a personality. I tell the story of when we used to drink in Bruxelles off to the Rock and Roll Bar off Grafton Street in Dublin, and you'd hear Philo is, he was up there, and this is it's like a dungeon, this pub, and in Ireland it's very common to leave celebrities alone, but we being that age, we had to we'll just go out and go up and stretch the legs and we'll go have a yeah. We would go up and we'd try to catch a glimpse. So I never met the man, and I idolized him. I write, I steal from Phil on a regular basis. They're essential to my music.
I think, and in the States too, they're very they're kind of underrated here generally. And it's whenever we come across somebody who actually knows who they are and is familiar, like really familiar with their stuff, it's kind of exciting. Like, oh, cool. Because I think like myself, most people probably, when growing up in the States, you're probably only familiar with Boys Are Back in Town, maybe Jailbreak,
Cowboy Song.
Yeah, Cowboy Song. So those are the ones that got airplay here, and it kind of gets lumped in with a lot of the other stuff, other classic rock stuff from the 70s, generally, and a lot of people probably don't even know they're from Ireland. Yeah, so it's
that's what cracks me up is I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fan, blah blah blah. And you mentioned Ireland, and they go, what? So it is. Yeah. So and again, I picked that song not only for its incredible guitar work, but also its the journey through the Irish music and the rock and the blending of how it seems just so easy for them to blend that Irish with that rock and just make it sound so so natural, so organic, if you like.
All right, wasting no time, we get into the first Rebel song on the list.
Yes.
Get Out You Black and Tans by Derek Warfield. This is the first version of the song you heard as a kid?
No. This is the version I picked is actually the Derek Warfield and the Young Wolf Tones. Derek could cut his teeth with the Wolf Tones and split with them many years ago, and so he's off with Damaris Woods. And Derek has become a friend of ours over the years. Just because as great and as vast and as wonderful as this big country is, Derek has a hold of the Irish scene and he's an amazing historian. He also is a poet, great musician, just wonderful. And he's actually booked us. He's booked us in Vegas and Florida, Atlantic City, DC. He's like I say, he's got a great grasp and a great hold on the Irish map, if you will.
Yeah.
So I picked that song because I've asked him before what his favorite Rebel song is, and he is such a historian and such just he has dates. He spits out dates that just blow my mind because he has it. It's all at the ready. Nothing is Googled. I mean, it's there, and he's a walking history book. He's brilliant. So
Yeah.
So I picked that one just because he is, he when he says it, he means it.
Yeah, one of my favorite memories is when he finally had a chance to actually watch us play. I mean, actually sit down and just give us his full attention, which was at the Four Fields, right?
Four Green Fields.
Four Green Fields in Tampa, Florida. And he and Damaris came out and they watched the whole show and hung around after, and we got to talk to him before we got on the road back home. This was at the tail end of a Florida tour we did several years ago. And it was just so great to see him. I just remember in particular, I'm sure there was a lot of stuff, a lot of moments like this, but the two moments I remember is when we're doing, first of all, Big Strong Man, and then this one, Black and Tans. He seemed particularly fascinated by the way we were playing the song. And he said it afterwards, but that meant the world to all of us.
Yeah, and another little story. When I was very, very young, I want to say about 7 years. I was very young at the time. I don't remember, but I was down in a place in Kerry called the Glen Eagle Hotel, and the Wolf Tones were playing. Derek was in the band at the time. He's one of the founding members, obviously. But they took a break about an hour into their set, and myself and my next door neighbor went up on the stage. We were messing with their instruments, and but we were miming to the music that they were playing over the PA during the break, and people were clapping. So I blame Derek Warfield for my love of performing, and so he didn't even know he gave me my first start. So the next one we have is Trouble with a Capital T by Horselips. Again, even before Thin Lizzy were Horselips, and this was a late discovery for me. I didn't know about Horselips until you'd heard it on the radio. You maybe had had caught a glimpse of Derek Doom or whatever. But I was late to the game with Horselips. So by the time I found them, I was kind of like, what are these? They all look like Bowie, kind of. The Ziggy Stardust kind of high
Right.
silver pants and all that stuff. But they were playing intricate, very, very heavy melody and heavy, great time changes and all that stuff. Just great stuff. Really, really way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time.
Definitely. Would you say that they're maybe the first rock band to actually take traditional melodies and turn them into like popular songs? I mean, I know Thin Lizzy did it not too long after that, but
yeah. I wish I wish I was versed in dates and when they, because like I said, I found them late. So I would imagine that they were one of the first, but there's bands like and I don't know the date. Forgive me. I think Steel Eye Span and stuff. And I don't like I said, I don't know chronologically the dates. So I would guess that Horselips were definitely in the front of it.
Yeah.
Then there was other bands later on. Another band, a trio out of Fermanagh called Mama's Boys, and Pat McManus is still plugging away over there. They were another band that they were tapped to be the next Thin Lizzy, and I'd seen them a bunch of times over there. And they're, like I say, Pat McManus is still keeping that thing alive. But they do the same thing. They do the Irish rock mixed with the more modern sounds and stuff like that. Very very interesting. So Pat McManus Band, check them out if you like this stuff.
Cool.
Next one. Ooh.
Hey, who are these guys?
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, it is. This is a brand new song.
Is it?
So Pirate's Life for Me. This is a new track off of our new album.
Just FYI, we weren't going to put any of our stuff on here, but I talked to Auntie Laurie and she said, you must. So we're this hasn't been released yet. We have our record finally finished. We're mixing it currently. And So I wanted to put this one on here, A, because it's new, and B, because it's our fiddle player that we recorded the record with. His name is Jeff Duncan, and Eric C. Hughes on drums and vocals, Chad on bass and vocals, myself on guitar and vocals. And it's a little departure, I'd say, from the stuff that we'd written before. So we wrote it for a pirate festival that we did the year before last here.
That's right.
Classic Devlin style. I said, yeah. I'll write a song for it. And then, of course, day before the festival, all right, guys, this is how it goes. So now we believe that we've got it a little closer to how it should sound, and we'll hope you like it. It'll be on our forthcoming record.
Yes. Next, we have Paddy, Public Enemy #1 by Shane MacGowan and the Popes.
Yeah, this one here, this song holds a very, very, very special place in my heart. Not just is it a brilliant, brilliant song, it's a true story, and it's also, we've opened countless shows. This song and Fall from Grace with God has opened so many shows. If we played 200 shows in a year, it wouldn't be a stretch to think that we had opened 180 of them with that song. It's just that.
Yeah. I think for a long time, especially in the very early years, it would be alternating. Like first song would be If I Should Fall from Grace with God with Pugs, and then set 2, first song, Paddy, Public Enemy.
Yeah.
Like almost without fail for years.
Yeah, and we changed the key of it. I remember Shane MacGowan and the Popes played it in C.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I changed it to make it higher because I thought it was a better song at a higher register. I just thought it was a better impact. For us, not for anybody else. I'm just saying. So, and then,
Yeah.
But I remember Turi Hoyseth, our original fiddle player. She put that B section that we put at the end.
Yes, tripping up the stairs.
Yeah, the song was. We all decided the song was good, and it was fun to play about.
Mm-hmm.
But Turi has an incredible ear, and she put and that to this day is still my favorite part of the song, is where we change key and we do it. It's just so this song is such a great delivery, just a monster performance by Shane MacGowan, and like I say, this song means nearly more to us than any of the stuff that we do. It's still as tough. The song is still as boisterous and it doesn't lose anything.
Yeah. I think it's probably worth mentioning that this is in classic Shane style. This is a blending of two things I guess he listened to when he was growing up. There's the traditional, jig, the kesh.
Yeah.
But then there was also, isn't that from a Wolftone song? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Gotcha. That's from a...
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just a brilliant, brilliant sort of blending of those two things and completely reimagined.
Amalgamation, yes.
Yeah. All right. Broad Black Brimmer by the Wolftones.
Yes. Now, we've spoken of Derek Warfield and the Young Wolftones. We've talked about the Wolftones a little bit, but there is one band that comes to mind every time I think of a Rebel song, and that's the Wolftones. And I don't think that there's three. Okay, there's 3. Okay, there's no more than 12. Okay, but Men Behind the Wire, Black and Tans, Broad Black Brimmer, Boys of the Old Brigade. There's a few more, but these are my top. These are just my, we're, Blaggards are here with you now. We're celebrating Paddy's Day. We're taking you kind of through, Blaggards' Irish music side, and Broad Black Brimmer is as great a capture snapshot of time in my head. I used to live in Tyrone. My father's from Coal Island in Tyrone, and we were there in what they call the Troubles. And the song is as clear a snapshot of that moment in time as you're going to hear. So there's a great movie with Daniel Day-Lewis called In the Name of the Father. And those two things to me are as clear as a memory as I have of that time. So Broad Black Brimmer is truly, the song means the most to me because it's such a great depiction of that moment, and so the song means a lot.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Going to My Hometown, Rory Gallagher.
of the 80,000 songs that you can pick from Rory Gallagher, it's impossible to pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 10. It's just, if you like guitar, you know, you want to listen to Shin Kicker, you want to listen to Moonchild, you want to listen, I mean, just on and on and on. I mean, just, and you want to listen to blues, you want to listen to old blues. There's just, my love for Rory Gallagher and his music it's endless. I mean, and it was great because I have a bond with my kids. My kids are Rory Gallagher fans. I think going to my hometown was one of the ones where, when my daughter was very young, she said, "Play that one again, play it again, play it again." It was the connection, but it was also the, you know, hey, that's not your typical 6-year-old girl.
Yeah.
You know, this one is just such a great, you know, you're never going to get a mailed-in performance by Rory Gallagher. You're never going to get a B-tape thing is supercharged. Everything is passion. Everything is heart. I love this. I love it.
And this one is really noteworthy too because he's playing mandolin and instead of guitar, and he's beating the piss out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really cool, and it's got this really kind of bouncy, almost like a hillbilly kind of feel to it, you know?
Yeah, it's funny you said that because I did have that kind of Roy Clark kind of thing in my head when I was listening to that you know, that great picking, that great, you know, that rhythmic, you know, because you don't need anybody, don't need anybody else. There's you know, you got that voice and you got that mandolin going. You don't need anything. It's the same when he does that bottleneck and stuff. It's just you know, it's a one man.
Yeah.
It's a one man. Just stand back and just, you know, prepare to be impressed.
And again, for our American friends here, Rory is sadly unappreciated or underappreciated in the States. I think a lot of people just don't know who he is, unless he's kind of a guitar player that most of the guitar players you meet, they worship him. So it's like either or. Either you worship him or you have no idea who he is. In the States. And it needs to change. And he just had an incredible body of work, and he's just absolutely brilliant, completely down to earth and accessible guy. Had a killer band, great bass player, great drummer. Bass player played with him almost his entire career, and he was a really special guy.
Yeah, and again, died way too soon, and I just shudder to think what he would be doing today, if, you know, I mean, just beyond. So we talked about Gary Moore. Rory Gallagher is even, and again, I wouldn't have said this, the younger me wouldn't have said this, but Rory Gallagher can destroy Gary Moore on a guitar. And for me to say, because I grew up listening to Thin Lizzy and to Gary Moore and to, you know, to those guitar shredders. But Chad and I know from the hundreds of thousands of miles that we put on the van and the countless hours of Rory Gallagher that we've had over and over and over again. Chad's fallen asleep, you know, 4 hours later, and it's the same record, still going. It's you cannot tire of it. It doesn't get old. It doesn't, you know, a lot of music will kind of thin out. It just becomes a little bit transparent over time because, you know, not Rory Gallagher. Just doesn't happen. So for everybody listening, we're not opinionated at all. So just if you're getting this, if you're getting and I object. It's such a thrill to listen to music like this because it's just it doesn't get made like that anymore. I mean, Steve Earle makes music like that. Mark Knopfler makes music like that. I wanted to say whoever wrote WAP writes music like that, but obviously
wrote what?
That wet ass song.
Oh.
He's trying to be silly.
Okay. Speaking of Gary Moore, Over the Hills and Far Away, which is a song, this is something he put out in the 80s, right?
Yes, yeah, from the Wild Frontier album. And I want to say the Chieftains played on this record.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I want to say the Chieftains did the backing, did the traditional instruments. And that's why I didn't put them on the list. No, and of course they were with the Elvis Costello song, but Chieftains, the Chieftains are you know, will always be, you know, in the top tier of the Irish music scene. Just no question. However, to me, Dubliners and Wolf Tones and that kind of stuff, that's where I went. So the Chieftains were always to me just beautifully constructed pieces and great sound, but just a little too watery for me. So anyway, so Gary Moore, as a young boy, Gary Moore was a guitar hero to me, and to this day, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody play that many notes well. There's a lot of people that play, sweep picking and finger tapping and just do all kinds of shredding kind of stuff. But to me, the Gary Moore had that Irish lilt to his playing. If that's even that might be wrong. But imagine his guitar shredding had an accent, and it was an Irish accent because. And it's funny to hear Gary Moore speak because he's from Belfast, but he has an English accent. He spent his time away, so it was always weird to hear you because you always expect him to talk like that, but he doesn't talk like that. It's an English accent, so that was strange. But his playing never lost that. Even when he did the Still Got the Blues record and he did all the stuff with Albert King and he did all that, to me he always had that Irish sensibility, that sensibility. Like when you listen to Eric Bell from Thin Lizzy, this is early on when they did Whiskey in the Jar and they did Shades of a Blue Orphanage, those old those early Thin Lizzy records. There was a definite Irish influence in that. I always heard it. I always heard that music in there. I always heard that flavor in it. And Gary Moore, so after he did his heavy metal, I think he did a record, like he tried to do like a heavy rock / heavy metal record or two, Victims of the Future, Corridors of Power. Maybe I really should have done some research before this. But those were the records. Those were the records that drew me in because I knew that he had played with Thin Lizzy, so I knew he was a good guitar player. You don't get to play with Thin Lizzy if you're a mediocre guitar player, except Snowy White. So Gary Moore, when he did the Wild Frontier record, I believe Phil had just passed. So he did.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Yeah. So there was that. It was that nod to Thin Lizzy that got my attention, but also the 100% all in Irish, rock thing. That's where Gary Moore had my full attention in that moment. And I still think I think the guitar solo is brilliant. I think the arrangement's brilliant. I think the words are crap, but I think that the song overall is just a monster record. I think it's a great track, and it's one of those ones that I haven't tired since I first heard it. Still love it, every note.
Yeah, it makes me. To me, it kind of sounds like Black Rose Part 2 in a way because it seems to be inspired by a lot of the same thing. And like you say, he had to have been thinking of Phil when he did this. Especially because of the timing of not just the content and the style of it, but God, it would have. Could you imagine what it would have been like if Phil had done this with him? That would have been so cool. But it's still a wonderful track. If
anybody here is listening today, and we certainly hope you are, and we're delighted to have you. If you're interested in any of this stuff, Phil Lynott and Gary Moore did. They did a few things later on out in the fields.
Yeah,
just. Again, it's one of those moments in time where they absolutely captured the moment. It sounds dated now when you listen to it, but it's still as brilliant as anything that they did. Back to the Thin Lizzy, Gary Moore, Philo thing. If you listen to Parisian Walkways, which they did back with Thin Lizzy, and then you go fast forward and you listen to Still Got the Blues by Gary Moore, they never left. Those songs never... Mm-hmm. Those musicians never left each other. It's actually remarkable when you think of their careers, the music they made, and how they inspired each other, and how they never left that. When your heart's in it, it's obvious, and you can't fake that. You can't form a band today and pretend to care. Pretend to be into it. So,
right? No, please don't.
Yeah. Please don't.
Okay. Winding down now. Rocky Road to Dublin by Christy Moore, which I thought this was an interesting choice. Now, the version I looked up when you put this on the list, it had some kind of electronic type percussion on it. Was that the version you were talking about?
Yeah, the techno thing, yes.
Yeah, okay.
You see, I didn't know. I stumbled across that back when On the Dole was around, and it was one of those things where I was like, "What are you doing?" Well, you know, Christy had a few too many, but but then it made sense when you listen to if you know any of Christy Moore's stuff. He's one of these guys too. That's and again, I'm not being patronizing. I'm not taking a swing. I just imagine Van Morrison kind of at ease, with a couple of pints down in a pub, Christy Moore's songwriting. And again, I never got, he played with Planxty way back in the day and he did this. Christy Moore is as energetic and a passionate performer as you're going to see, but it always seems to me like he's just working his ass off, trying to get, not trying to, excuse me, absolutely executing every song in top gear, and the sweat running down him, and the guitar just taking a beating, and having those lyrics and those stories and those so Rocky Road to Dublin, I think, is one of the lyrically one of the best poems. One of those things where you read it and the rhythm and the words and the song, the tune, and the it's such a perfect match. It was nearly a symmetrical construction. It was nearly built to be this perfectly, but still delivered like just like a sack of bricks to the jaw. I mean, I don't think anybody but Christy Moore can deliver it like that. I think he's just a powerful performer.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would put Luke Kelly up there too with all the versions I've heard. I think he does a great job as well.
I agree with you, with Luke Kelly. I don't think anybody's. I mean, I know places in the world that you can get killed for saying something bad about Luke Kelly. I mean, he is. He's just, his voice is just absolutely as clear and as distinct as anybody's. But yeah, Luke Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
But again, same with Christy Moore. Christy Moore he's that mid-rangey kind of. But do not try to don't try to go up against him. Don't try to
Just FYI too, for anybody who's curious, go on YouTube and Google Christy Moore and Shane MacGowan. They've actually done a lot of stuff together, and it's really, really cool. There's quite a bit of it actually too. All right, so last two on the list. We'll may put this in a different order, but we got Moonshiner, which will be on the new record.
Why is that, Chad?
Why will Moonshiner be on the new record?
Yeah.
Because it's freaking cool.
What track number?
I think it's going to be track number 1. That's what I'm voting for. I've been lobbying for that for months or years. But Moonshiner, we've only relatively recently added this to our set. It's a traditional song, but the way that Patrick kind of kicked it around, rewrote some of the words, and we added an instrumental break. To me, listening to it, it's got shades of a lot of the bands that we've mentioned in this list. There's a little Horselips in there. There's a little Thin Lizzy in there. There's even a little Iron Maiden in there. We didn't put Iron Maiden on this list, but maybe next time. But I just love this track. I'm really, really happy with it, and I think y'all are going to love it too.
Well, just for the record, I tried to catch Chad out because only yesterday was he saying that it should be track number 1. So I said, all right, I'll see if he really means that.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Actually, do you remember the first time we played it?
Do I remember? No, I don't. I probably don't.
I actually do remember. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and you, this is a first, or damn near first, because usually what happens is they go, hey, do you know this? I go, nope. And Chad goes, oh, I do. Well, it was 1972. It was 3:00. I was eating potatoes in my underwear with, and I have no recollection of it. Well, let me tell you, this day, I'm turning it all around. This is a first. We played this at a place called Keneally's 2 years ago. First time we ever played the song. Somebody came up and requested it. It was a husband and wife. And so it was one of those things where, hey, we're here. Let's give it a shot.
Have we been working on it already? Or did we just do it off the cuff?
No, off the cuff.
Okay.
First time you guys heard it was when I played it and you backed me up.
That's a lot of things to start that way.
Yeah.
Wow. I almost maybe kind of barely not really remember that.
Yeah. That's a testament coming from Chad right there.
If it was recent enough, there might actually be a recording of it too. I'd have to go back and dig through the archives.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
But it was 2 years ago. It was a couple of days before Paddy's Day, I want to say, at Keneally's. And I still remember. It's funny because there's a few songs that we play that I still don't know. Let me explain. We've been requested to play songs, and I knew enough of them to get into trouble. My good friend David Lee Roth would say, "I know enough to get us into trouble and halfway out." And I love to use it's very true in the way we perform, in that we will get into a song on stage while we're halfway through the set, whatever, and play a song that we've never played before, and that's when being in a band together and playing together just really saves your ass, because you have to know where the other one's going. And you can usually tell by the body language, all right, that leg is kicking, there's a stop coming. That arm is coming up, there's going to be a slow down, a key change, I think, and when the eyes get real big and you get that look like somebody's, there's an attacker, there's an imminent death warrant, that there's something's about to happen. And it's just, it's pretty exhilarating when you get it right. There's been quite a few where but
yes,
that's funny. I don't recall those things, but I remember that moment. This is another traditional one, and thanks to Paul Beebe at BB Gun Studios here in Houston, Texas, you're getting the watered down version of the lyrics. The first set of lyrics that I did, I don't write my lyrics down. I kind of just spit them out as they're needed. And the first round of lyrics, I remember looking into the booth where Paul had the headphones on, and he's looking, and he's kind of scowling at the knobs and the screen and the thing. And we finished the tape. I'm kind of wiping the sweat away, and he goes, that's kind of dark, isn't it? I said, okay, let me try again. He didn't scowl so much the second time, so I figured I was doing a better job of
almost as disturbed as he was when we recorded Danny Boy a few weeks later.
Yeah,
which is not on this list.
No, it's not on this list, nor would it ever be. But if you are curious and you're interested in see what we're doing, we are going to be on Reward Music. All the information will be on the station, but we'll probably have a version of Danny Boy up there, at some point.
Yeah.
We haven't recorded.
Right, we just haven't really finished it yet. That was intended to be a single. I guess that we're not going to have it out in time for this Paddy's Day, but maybe next year. Yeah. For Reward Music too, the easiest way to find it is just go to blaggards.com, and there will be a link there. That's where you also find our store, blaggards.com/store. And we're going to have our brand new t-shirt design is up there right now, plus a few other more classic selections. We've got a hat, we got a beanie.
But to me, the most important is to have you here with us today, celebrating Paddy's Day. We're delighted to be asked to do this, and I'm hoping that we're going to get to do it again, because we're Lonesome Larry fans, lifelong Lonesome Larry fans. So
very fun. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's get some rest and get ready to go again. Just thanks to everybody for coming out, and for and again the just everybody's been so generous and so just we're coming to see you. I don't care where you are. We're coming to play for you. So watch out.
That's right. All right, fellas. I think that does it for 111.
Yeah.